they can go ahead and land them with pretty good efficiency. And even if you don't, you have a champ like Gragas, those cooldowns just get so short as you start heading on into the late game. It's just like, yeah, you can afford to even miss a few. Sometimes you just want to throw out those barrels just because you can, just because you want that damage. And that's that kind of power. That's the utility that Gragas provides. But so far, first 2 bans out. We're not seeing a ban on them so far. Maokai and Vlad going to be the first 2.
Yeah, and Vladimir is expected from KSG as well. Meet Playground, they're not going to force out the Gragas immediately. But, I mean, kind of with what you're saying, that's why pokes with Gragas is so effective, because of the short cooldowns. But when you're in a fight, you don't have the ability of just stalling a fight. You know, you're all or nothing. You throw off your barrels. If the enemy team forces a fight on you and you don't hit with your barrels, then you're just not going to have enough damage to follow up on it. So, I don't know, we'll see, you know, if we see that Gragas ban, or if, you know, we just see that Gragas pick once again. I'm sure Meet Playground would be fine with that. They do ban off the Alistar Diana being banned once again.
Yep, and this is also the first time that Maokai is being banned in this series. Killsteel Gaming, they've been trying to rely on him just a little bit there, and he did definitely help there in game number 2 to get all the twist advances they need. That ult is going to be a great tool also in the event that the last ban from KSG is not the Gragas. So that way, Meet Playground just go ahead, pick him on up, and there's a lot of damage reduction that is gone.
Yeah, so we'll see where they go with this. There is still the Nunu. Nunu is a very strong pick as well, so they do ban off Gragas.
There he is.
Meet Playground probably going to grab Nunu here now that it's not banned. That, you know, will be a very strong first pick with them. So we'll see how KSG is going to respond. Oh, wait,
Shen's
banned.
open.
Oh, that is a, you know, very strong open
Shen's
pick.
open. Malphite is also open.
Wow,
there he
that's
is.
true.
And
so they can get Malphite and Nunu.
That's dangerous. Malphite and Nunu. That's a very dangerous combo. We'll see if KSG actually decides to go with that as well. So yeah, 2 champs that have been banned so far this entire series, now coming on in with those first few picks. But that's the thing, though. These are 2, again, very ambiguous first picks. Not quite sure where Shen and Malphite are going. They could both go top. They could both go into jungle, flip-flop, either or. There's plenty of options. And now with this next pick coming from KSG, if it is indeed the new, could set the pace for a lot of other things. But they will take the Ezreal away from Meet Playground.
Yeah, kind of interesting considering that, you know, Ezreal didn't really work out for Meet Playground in the previous match, but Ezreal is very strong. You know, it is a very strong laning pick, and then very strong in team fights as well. So if they can pull off ahead, then Ezreal can snowball pretty easily in you know, both the lane and in fights. I don't know. We'll have to see how they're going to kind of respond. Probably going to pick something like Corki. Graves, you know, you don't usually want to pick a Graves into a Malphite just because of the short range disadvantage that you're going to have. Corki will have, you know, that great survivability and everything, so they can pick that fairly safely. I can pick the Nunu as well, you know, for that great support. It will be a very strong bottom lane, but they can also run it in the jungle if they like to, and will provide that safety in the back line from, you know, the Malphite and everything. Oh.
Nice.
But going to go with Janna. So it's been a while since we've seen Janna, but, you know, Janna, the protection that you have against Malphite can be very strong. You can actually stop his ultimate if you throw off the Whirlwind.
Actually, no, there we go. Last second change. It will be the Nunu with the Corki, so it's going to be a very fast dude on a plane doing a whole lot of damage there. So now it's now the bot lane has pretty much been established here for Meet Playground. You have potential supports that you can see from Killsteel. You know, Tarek is still fantastically amazing.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. You could
could go with like a Sona. There's a number of options. Lulu as well.
Soraka.
The Ezreal Lulu lane. Soraka. I mean, that's one of the nice things with Ezreal. You can lane any support with her, or with him. You know, so that will be a very strong lane regardless. But
I'm sure there's someone in the chat right now. I was like, no, you were right the first time.
But having the AoE, like Sona in particular, works very well with this kind of an AoE comp. If they are going to go with the Kennen, it will give them a little bit of initiation advantage.
Yep.
They could also pick up the Morgana here, so I'd be kind of a little bit surprised. Lulu works with the Malphite.
Yes.
You know, and like I said, Lulu and Ezreal is a very strong bot lane. You have that pushing capabilities, but you're also great at dueling and whatnot. But the double knock-up with the Malphite and the Lulu can be very strong, and just the fact that you can protect anyone with Lulu.
But you know, if the Anivia pick being considered for Meet Playground, but also keep in mind, Orianna's open. Could also go for the Orianna nice combo with the Malphite, and, you know, shields on top of the Lulu could also be very amazing. You got the Anivia being considered here. It's been a while since we've seen Trundle as well. He's one of my favorites, but he does he does have a tendency to fall off a little bit, but that will seal Shen there in the top lane. But still considering that's just a troll. That's just a troll.
Hey, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I've seen St. Vicious jungle it. It's going to be a jungle Nunu, so
yeah,
Janna's going to be going to the bot lane.
Yeah.
Will be a safe pick for it for them, but we'll see how they can do with this. The Nunu in game 1 did work out very well for them. They have really nice CC control that'll help protect against the initiation from Kennen and from Malphite. Now in this spot, they could go with something like a Rise if they like to. They're going to be jungling Malphite. Most likely, they could send Kennen mid as well, but probably going to be a jungle Malphite. They could go with that kind of tanky up front team with a Rise, or they could go with something like an Orianna. Would work out pretty well as a pretty common combo.
Yeah, I think the Orianna, I would love to see that. I think that works best, and we have also been seeing quite a bit of the Ori Malphite combo. But there's a lot of things in.
So it is. They're going to be jungling Skarner potentially. They could actually send either Kennen or Malphite in that mid lane.
Yeah, we've actually seen AP Malphite before on stream as well, and it's if I remember correctly, used to be actually a pretty big thing a while back.
Yeah, I mean, it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
It was actually back before they changed the mana regen so that all the champions have higher base mana regen and the runes and masteries were nerfed because Malphite, they didn't have enough mana for spammability, but Malphite, you would go with the mana regen runes and you would just constantly spam your Q at people and be really annoying in that mid lane. It's probably going to be a top lane though. Rux is, playing him. So, Shen versus Malphite is a pretty common matchup.
Teleport.
Neither of them can really abuse the other that significantly. Shen has an early advantage, to a small extent, but doesn't usually have enough damage to wear down Malphite. It's usually a pretty even lane. He does go with that teleport as well, so he will be able to join with the rest of his team. And then Kennen in the mid lane versus Anivia isn't going to be able to get on much harass at all. It's really going to be a passive farming lane.
Yep, so Malphite grabbing that teleport just to make sure that if Shen goes anywhere, and if he doesn't have the ult available to interrupt it, that he can actually still go in and follow for the pursuit and still be a presence into wherever Shen happens to go. I'll take a quick look over here at Rux's room pages here, and that's actually still his still the Kennen page right there.
Yes, so that's kind of interesting. Yeah. If he's still deciding to run that, because that'd be kind of unusual. I haven't seen a physical damage page on Malphite before, but that could work out well for him. He still has some magic pen as well, and the interesting thing is, you're not going to get a lot of magic damage onto Shen, but usually Malphite will exchange by getting off the slow and getting on the attack speed slow as well, and then just wearing you down with his auto attacks. And his auto attacks can actually be very strong with his W. So having that attack damage actually could work out very well for him. It's pretty interesting. So we'll have to see, how they can control these lanes. Meat Playground, they have a pretty strong, pretty safe team though. None of the lanes are really very gankable. Top lane is potentially gankable with the Malphite combo into the Skarner. That could be pretty dangerous. But for the most part, they're going to be safe, and Skarner is just going to be looking to farm. And he does have a slight jungling advantage over Nunu. He is going to be a pretty fast jungler, so we'll see how that works out.
But I'm also thinking though, bot lane there could be some attempts bot lane, because if you do have Skarner, it's not too uncommon for him to go ahead and rush at Shirelia's. But as he's entering lane, remember Lulu has a movement speed buff, so that could help.
Yeah, no, that will be very strong, and if they can catch them unawares, like through the bushes, then that could be very, difficult for Meat Playground to survive through. But usually speaking, Janna will be very safe against Skarner because Skarner's a movement speed jungler. You need to just run up. Janna just throws off a whirlwind, no big deal, just walks away. But if they get the slow from Lulu, and they catch Skarner where he can, get in position and sneak up on him, that could work out for them. So that is going to be a danger. But as long as they have good ward coverage, as long as Irwin Booz drops some good wards, they should be okay.
Yeah, and hey, remember, the ward coverage. Wards win games, it is true, and wards also prevent very disastrous ganks, which could very well be when you're facing up against someone like a Skarner. Once he hits 6, once he gets that pull, that can be just absolutely devastating.
That's also why it's going to be important for Bunny Fufu to try and get out a lot of pink wards to counter out Janna, so that they can get on that kind of pressure.
Yeah, pink wards. That's the thing, dude. Whenever you're playing support, that first initial purchase, sometimes you mull it over. Do I want the 4 green wards, or do I want the two green into 1 pink? And if you want to get that aggressive position, if you want to be able to push, and yet still be protected, you need that pink. You need to be able to clear out that coverage. But then again, you are down 1 ward. You will actually have to back sooner to go ahead and restock. But hopefully by then you'll have gained enough of an advantage there in the lane.
Yeah, so here we go. Game number 3, Meat Hazard versus KSG. We'll see how these two teams can, face it off. Definitely an interesting matchup. I think the survivability and the quick burst in CC that KSG has could be very difficult. Or I'm sorry, that Meat Playground has could be very difficult for KSG to deal with, though. But I don't know. Both teams are very strong. The AOE initiation for KSG can be very strong, but having Anivia and Janna to counter that out should be able to control the front line and could make it difficult for Kennen and Malphite to get and engage.
So with that on, and we've seen on Killsteel this entire time, they've been relying on that Maokai, but now they have to go with the Skarner, seeing as it's now been banned this time around. And if you missed those bans, Gragas has been banned out this game. He's been a very driving force in this series up until now, but for the first time, he will not be making his usual large appearance. So here we are in game number 3. Let's take a quick look at the item builds. Lulu going for the 3 wards, and an extra potions actually. Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, so, it'll give her a little bit more spammability in that lane so they can aggressively push the turret, which is probably what they're going to be trying to do. Just try and push them into the turret, with the Lulu Glitter Lance, get off some nice harass. But in the meantime, we'll have to see Nunu walking up very aggressively, gets the ward over by the Wraith,
He's
which
hungry.
that's actually a pretty common spot for Nunu when you're jungling Nunu, to just run up and put the ward up there. So a lot of times, as a team, you can kind of take advantage of that and just be ready in that brush, try and pick him off as he runs in for the ward.
I think with that one shot from Ezreal, he's like, are they still there? Are they still in that bush? I'm not even quite sure. But yeah, with that coverage though. But here's the thing, right now, Killsteel, they actually saw Nunu. They saw the exact placement of where the ward is, and now Skarner knows the exact path that he needs to take in order to avoid vision on that ward. Just go ahead, kill enough time, wait for the 3 minutes to expire, and it's essentially just hands off the Wraiths for the entire time. And they'll hopefully just have enough of a defense, placing down the ward on their own to know if Nunu actually comes in and goes for that blue Wraith steal.
Yeah, so we'll see what they end up doing here. It should be a pretty passive game early on. Skarner can be pretty aggressive if he gets in range. So top lane, if Shen's caught out of position, that could be kind of dangerous for him, just because of how much damage Skarner has early on in the game, particularly once he hits red buff. But for the most part, both of these junglers are going to sit back for a little bit. Just focus on clearing, getting up some quick levels, and then we'll see some aggression later on.
Yep, Zev should be able to grab that blue buff pretty quick. You also got a little bit of assistance coming in from Lulu. You got that shield, but X-Hazard helping out NK Inc. just a little bit of a snack. Gonna hold on to that smite and actually use it at the red buff. So NK Inc.'s looking for that quick level 3, or even a quick invade on the red even. I think he may actually, is he actually going to go for it? I think he will, but he will actually intercept with the Skarner. Does get spotted out by the ward. Right now, the Killsteel, they know they have a Nunu in their midst. You got Kennen coming up, but he's actually been put a little bit weak already from the early lane harass coming in from Anivia. So there's only, you can't do a whole lot there against that Nunu. Still trying to get those steals, still trying to get that harass, and Skarner's just going to have to walk away from that one. NK still just getting snowballs just to annoy him.
Yeah, and because of the early pressure that Anivia put on the lane, they know they have that presence. Malphite is making his way down. The ward does catch him out, and NK Inc., he doesn't recognize that it's there. So now it is a 3v1, and he is way out of position. He does have the flash if he can get to the Wraith Wall. Long Lee trying to stop him out for a little bit. Can get the stun at the last second. Actually, the flash in from Rux along with the Ignite, trying to pick up that kill. Doesn't quite have the follow-up, but one more Q will be very close to taking him down. He just barely backs out of there.
Wow. Very impressive. Just Nunu waddling for his life to get out of that situation. Was looking for that red steal and was not going to get it. Great ward placement coming in from KSG. And Pobelter will trying to help as much as he can, but he's only level 2. And it's not expected of an Anivia to buy wall that early, unfortunately.
Yeah, and X-Hazard has gotten some damage on Rux in the top lane, but Skarner is here as well. We'll just sit back, though, just checking that Malphite's okay. He's going to be able to farm underneath the turret. X-Hazard is going to back off, so hard push. He's able to get back, buy some items, so he's going to be fine there. We'll see how these lanes continue to progress. So far, Light Sludge and Urban Booze have done a really nice job in the bottom lane, and I don't know, despite the advantage, Lulu usually does a decent job against Janna in the early laning phase, because you can burst down Janna's shield and Janna loses her damage, but Lulu doesn't. And then also having the long-range harass that Janna doesn't have. It usually works out in Lulu's favor, and actually we're starting to see some great harass from Snipes there, but so far, Light Sludge has done a pretty nice job controlling this lane.
Yeah, you even take a look at the early farm, 19 to 29. That's a pretty huge creep lead for Light Sludge so early on. Right? It's still early. Snipes, he can pretty well farm under the tower at an okay rate. And eventually from all this harass, I mean, just look at the health on Janna. She's going to have to back. And when Janna does back to regain that mana, regain that health, Light Sludge is going to be a little bit crippled. And Snipes and Bunny can go ahead and just push back and try and get back some of that creeps.
Yeah, but by constantly pressuring Ezreal and pushing him underneath the turret, despite the fact that Ezreal can farm under the tower, it does disrupt him a little bit.
Yes.
And having the Phosphorus Bomb and just the Janna shield, because Bunny Fufu is actually not getting off the damage to burst down that shield, it's allowing Light Sludge to get off a lot of harass here because he's able to hold on to that AD. So it's been a really nice, they've been having a nice time in lane. Yep. A little romance building up with Corki and Janna. They're going to be fine there. Yep. So we'll see, how this kind of progresses. What kind of pressure we can start to see from the junglers. Skarner is very close to finishing that Hex, that Philosopher's Stone. He will have that on his next go back. And usually with Skarner and with most junglers, you're actually going to be looking to get those gold pretends quickly. But on the other side, NK Inc., he's actually gone for the mobility boots first, so not going for that.
So he's going to be looking to try and get those slows, trying to get harassed, and maybe even a little bit of a counter jungling action going in as well, because with those boots, you can just go in, have a snack, and just get on out quicker, even quicker than he normally would. Taunt from Shen coming on in onto Rux here in the top lane. You got NK Inc. with all the slows and all the extra damage necessary, and there you go, the first blood. Very convincingly done by Shen and Nunu there in the top lane.
Oh, the flash from Light Sludge trying to pick up the Ezreal kill, just barely not able to grab it. The Arcane Shift protecting him there, but really nice job in the lane so far for Meat Playground. Not putting themselves behind early, they're able to win these lane matchups, and Anivia has done well against Kennen, almost picking up the kill not that long ago. Then the mobility on Nunu with the Blood Boil, with those mobility boots, just being able to run right up and pick up the kill, onto Malphite is absolutely huge. So we'll see what kind of pressure he can put on this match. He is getting long lane very low, and at this point in time, no health potions, just trying to play defensively. So all of this harass that NK Inc.'s doing, even though he's putting himself, at a kind of disadvantage, he's really throwing behind Kennen for Anivia.
Yep, and even when the game progresses even further, Kennen really relies on abilities like that Lightning Rush to actually escape from bad situations. So you have the Snowball in combination later with Pobelter when he eventually buys points into that wall. That's going to be devastating. That's going to be absolutely devastating for Long Lane.
Yeah, and in the meantime, Light Sludge, he's fine with having a really long early laning phase, and the big thing is he knows that he's harassed down Ezreal pretty significantly, so he doesn't want to leave until Ezreal leaves, because that would open up free farm opportunity for Ezreal. So he's going to be able to push it into the tower now, deny a lot of golden experience, and then get back. Since he sees that Lulu is alone, he will go back now. He will have a small item advantage, being 20-some CS ahead, so can take advantage of that lane. Actually, how much gold does he have? He has enough for a BF sword if he decides to go for it, whereas Ezreal, no, he's going for the Phage. So Ezreal, goes for the Dorans and then the Vamp Scepter. So that mana or that health regen will be pretty nice with the lifesteal. However, the Phage procs on Corki will be absolutely devastating. He can duel very effectively and just kind of chase them down and try and pick up kills.
And if you both ADs also going for the split potions, mana and health. So they're also looking to stay down. They're looking to spam their abilities just a little bit to stay relevant in the lane and trying their best to just not back as often as they normally would. They're looking to stick it out, stay around for the long fight.
Yeah, and in the meantime, Rux, he's kind of cautious in this top lane. X
There we
Hazard
go.
goes in with the taunt, though. The unstoppable force trying to get out of there, but they might actually tower dive this. They're going to have plenty of damage. He does flash out, and X Hazard, he actually wants to go with it. A little bit of a communication error, but they have the damage. NK Inc. will be able to pick this up underneath the turret, so another kill. Malphite goes down once again, but Kennen has the follow-up. Can he get the ultimate? Can he take them down?
Nice ward.
Not quite in range. Throws it off onto Nunu. The flash out, the Shen ultimate as well, and they're going to combo this. The Nunu ultimate, the taunt misses, but that Nunu ultimate is going to devastate Longley.
Wow.
He drops very quickly.
Wonderful coordination coming on in. But there's still a Skarner here. He's still got the pull. NK Inc., you will go down, but after all that, 2 for 1, it's still a good exchange there for Me Playground. That was so wonderful.
Yeah, really nice play from them, and now Light Sludge getting some nice damage on the bottom lane. Throws off the Gatling. Bunny Fufu is very low. Another rocket. He has to force the flash out of there. Snipes is low as well. Is able to turn it around onto Irwin Booz a little bit, but they can control this lane since, you know, Lulu will have to play extremely defensively. So we'll see how that kind of factors into it. But yeah, really nice play in the top lane. Malphite 0-2 right now. You don't need a lot of farm on Malphite. You know, he's not going to just instantly lose the lane because of Shen pulling ahead, but Shen can snowball a little bit. So they'll have to watch out the constant harass from Shen. If he gets too far ahead, if he gets some early, you know, tanky items and damage items, then he could bully Malphite out of that lane.
Yeah, and Rex is also already dedicated to work for that GP10 build. Already has a Philo Stone. Gonna be working for the Heart of Gold. Granted, X Hazard does have one as well, but from this point on, though, all the income coming in from Shen, if Nunu is a frequent visitor top lane, it's going to take a while. It's going to take a while for Rux to actually get the return on investment. Nice wall coming in from Pobelter to keep Longley just a little bit behind, keep that harass going, and just prevent him from getting back to safety at his tower. Irwin Booz with the tornado, getting the slow down onto Snipes with the Gatling gun. Light Sludge, he knows the proper times in which to back off. Meanwhile, you got Kennen actually getting a little bit chunked out there in the mid, and just, you know, rethinking things. Gonna have to go ahead and chunk that health potion just to stay in mid.
And NK Inc. has come into the bottom lane. Skarner is there as well, so they will have to protect against that. Skarner is moving up. It looks like he's ready for this. Bunny Fufu will have the movement speed, and they are trying to force this fight. Irwin Booz should be able to get them out of that. Light Sludge turning back in, but gets a little bit too close. Is hooked. The exhaust goes on to Snipes, and he's getting very low, but Corky does go down. NK Inc.'s going to be able to pick up a kill, but then chasing down Bunny Fufu. Try and grab himself another one. Rux is behind them, though. They did get the teleport in with Malphite. There's the engage. NK Inc. is going to go down, so the fight actually works out in the favor of KSG, though just by the slightest of margins.
X Hazard did not have the ultimate up in order to go ahead and teleport in with the shield, but Irwin Booz will still get caught, will still go down, and meanwhile, Anivia actually in the mid taking out Longley.
Yeah, and a little bit distracted. Pobelter couldn't come down and help out Irwin Booz because he was busy, you know, taking names in that mid lane. So really nice job taking the turret as well early on. Has put on a lot of pressure, and that's actually an issue with Kennen. Kennen doesn't have a great counter push. You need to get into melee range. You need to use your lightning rush in order to try and push a lane or clear a minion wave. So Anivia can actually push Kennen into the turret fairly easily, and that's worked out pretty well for them so far.
So you got Rux still trying to be pretty happy with himself with that assist, with the teleport down bot. But now, though, the Shen ult is back up. Teleport has got a pretty long cooldown on Malphite. So if X Hazard is forced into a situation elsewhere on the map, for a while, Rux will not be able to get that follow-up, will not be able to help. So there's an opportunity there for X Hazard to go ahead and pick up and regain and grab another kill to still stay on top of Rux.
Yeah, so we'll see how he can control that lane. You know, the With's End will be very strong. Like 1v1, Shen is going to abuse Malphite right now. And he doesn't quite have enough items where he's going to be tanky enough that he can just kind of shrug off that damage. A little bit later on, you can usually do that as Malphite. You can just shrug off any kind of damage. But he is recalling, so he's actually looking for an opportunity to come down to the bottom lane, expecting the Dragon Force. Unfortunately, it is not going to be in time because they are already ready for it. NK Inc. gets off the ultimate, though, the wall off. Skarner will use his ultimate to try and counter that out some, but he will drop very quickly.
Wow.
So Meat Playground, they're able to force this dragon very easily. Shen does have his ultimate, so he's going to be able to come down and help out his team.
Fantastic wall from Pobelter coming on in. It's like, hey, you got the pull. You're not going anywhere with our fuzzy buddy. I'm sorry. It's like just not going to happen. And with that blue stolen. Pobol's are going to have it. Ezreal ult actually not getting anything.
He got the small minion.
Yeah, you got one. And not even actually going to give a shave to X-Hazard even. But also look at NK Inc. with all the gold that he's been getting. He's 3-2-3. Yeah, he can buy in oracles. It's no big deal. Pellbelter coming on in. Nice. Huge damage on Bunny Fufu with the wall as well. White Sludge coming on in with the Gatling gun. And Snipes is in a very bad spot. You got X-Hazard with the shield. He made his little guest appearance. And now me playing they can just do whatever they want here in bot. They can take out the turret if they want. They can take out the dragon also. You can also do both. White Sludge, he has the minion support. He can go ahead and do that while the rest of the team takes care of the dragon.
Yeah, they need to do both because Malphite's going to get some nice damage on that top. So, you know, they are able to grab the turret with the dragon. That makes it worth their while. Along with all those kills, they're able to pull ahead, and then Nivea's going to be able to stall off this mid. Top is very close to going down, though. Rux should be able to grab this before anyone can get back in time. But getting all the blue buff and everything has, you know, made a wonderful lead for Meat Playground. They're you know, definitely doing really nice right now.
A 6K lead, which is very significant here, 15 minutes in. And any lead in excess of like 2K this early on in the game is just flat out ridiculous. For it to be the massive goalie that is right now, and Meat Playground is just in such a great position.
Yeah, it really is phenomenal. So we'll see, you know, how KSG can try and turn this around. They do have really nice AoE initiation, you know, so they can try and counter that out some, but not quite able to get the early gold lead that they would like. And unfortunately, not only are they really far behind, but a lot of the gold on their team is actually onto Skarner, who has the most gold in the team, which is not usually what you want to see out of a support jungler like Skarner. So the rest of the team, they just don't have the damage follow-up because they're pretty significantly behind in every single lane. Yeah,
and in terms when you go actually look at Meat Playground, their gold distribution is actually very nice. It's actually fairly even. Everyone's getting a nice, good chunk, equal chunks of that pie. X-Hazard getting caught a little bit, but the taunt, the dash over the wall is going to be no big deal. NK coming in from behind onto Lulu and to Ezreal, throwing down the ult just to make sure that Snipes cannot clear as much ground as he normally would. Lulu has no choice but to use the ult on herself just to get away, and Snipes with all that CC coming in from Janna is going to be no big deal. NK Inc. going to go ahead and clean that up. Snowball, something, anything? There you go.
Yeah, so they are able to pick up those 2 kills there. Light Sludge just barely grabbing Lulu. She was almost able to kite out for a while, but they are able to grab both of them. And with the map control that they have, having that early gold lead, but then also having the oracles pretty much secured. The Skarner ult, though, will pull back Pobelter back into long lay. He will get some nice damage with that ultimate, and he will surely go down. He is egged. He's very close to popping up, though, but it doesn't matter. He's going to drop very quickly. He can't pick up the kill on his way out. Shen is starting to move down to the bottom lane, but they are pushing this bot turret, and so Light Sludge, he's going to get some nice damage on it with no one to defend.
X-Hazard's ult is actually almost up. We'll be able to teleport on in to the fights. He's also level 11, so it's going to be a level 2 ult, so it's going to be pretty beefy for himself. Bunny Fufu is on back. Malphite joining in the bot lane as well. Glitter Lane's going down just as a nice little warning shot. I think you might want to get away. I got a big pile of rocks behind me. Get out.
Yeah, so they do back off. Malphite's ultimate is up, so they have to watch out for that, but they're very safe. They have nice ward coverage over by the blue, you know, so they have a nice understanding, and actually Bunny Fufu recognizing that, so drops the pink ward there, is able to counter that some, so that is actually going to stop their split push a little bit. Snipes, he can hold the lane here. If he chooses, he's actually going to push it up, so just, you know, picking up some quick farms so he can move around with this team to the rest of the map. So we'll see how they can continue to, you know, try and keep even with the farm since they are behind. Corki 30 CS ahead of Ezreal. You know, Nivea basically the same story onto Kennen, and having, you know, the kills and everything has worked out in their favor as well. X-Hazard should be able to take down this turret. Rux trying to slow him down. It's actually going to be able to clear out this minion wave, so X-Hazard's going to take a lot of damage, throws off the taunt, gets out of there, doesn't want to tank that turret for too long. Yeah, the next minion wave, it will for sure go down. You got Bunny and he got Snipes trying to get whatever damage they can, but Light Sludge just on his own is more enough to go ahead and dissuade, but you do have Zevs here waiting on into bush. The Impale's almost up.
wait for it. There it is. He could go in on this, and again, the speed buff from Lulu could be a massive help. There, actually, the Shirelia's was not actually purchased by Skarner. Actually went in for the quick Glacial Shroud. He wants that cooldown reduction. He wants to make sure that he can actually get that Impale up quickly and often. You got Janna walking into the bush. Nice Monsoon coming on in. The Impale still not been used, and now it's the long run trying to just get to safety. You do have Anivia and Nunu in the mid trying to catch on up. You do have the shield coming in, and there you go. There's the Impale. You got the Shen coming on in. Will it be enough? Will he be there in time? Yes, he will. Does get the taunt, but Janna does still die. Nunu ult coming on in. Lulu popping up everyone. Interrupting the Nunu ult. But you got to keep everyone a little bit more safe. You got Shen getting the taunt. Getting the taunt in onto Skarner, but Anivia looking to clean up Pobelter with the double kill. Rux also following in pursuit, but very low and does not have the egg. Skarner falling to the Shen. Wonderful fight, 1 for 4.
Yeah, really nice job. Erwin Boo's just barely able to kite up to the rest of his team. And Pobelter actually 1v1'd Ken in the beginning of the fight, was able to burst him down, and then, rejoin with the rest of them. So really nice play. He I don't know, just really did a really nice job. Rux wasn't quite able to finish him off, and grabbing that blue buff as well, they're able to continue their gold lead, and they're just a little bit too strong, a little bit too tanky for KSG to deal with, and a lot of it has to do with Nunu's disruption in the middle of the fight as well. So Nunu with the Shen ultimate, Nunu just absolutely destroyed Ezreal in that fight, and just the quick burst damage on Ezreal and the attack speed slow and everything, Snipes had to back out of there and was never really able to get off any effective damage.
Xezreal looking for that Wraith steal and backing on off just at the right time, knowing that Kennen is nearby and going to recall. He's going to buy himself something nice. You got everyone else, though, from Me Playground assembling in the mid. Pobelter and Anivia. Anivia is a pretty good champ when you just really want to push a lane. That ultimate is such a great tool. Pushing back, kill steal gaming. You have kind of looking to get a little bit aggressive. You got 2 lightning stacks down into Anivia. Not quite enough for the stun. You can't quite get the initiation, but the Impale, the ult from Skarner is back up.
Yeah, and so Meat Playground, they are pressuring the mid lane. Ezreal is down bottom, but actually Bunny Fufu caught out of position. The wall off the flash over the wall, but he will drop pretty quickly. Pobelter picking it up with the Flash Frost, and so they will be able to steal this red buff. Uncontested, the slow though. Skarner drops very quickly to the Nivea damage, and just peeking. Just trying to peek against Meat Playground, but with the ward, they spot him out, and now they can pressure the Baron because Ezreal is still bottom, so there is not really a big threat for KSG to come in and affect this at all.
You said that, and like the first thing that came to my mind is just like, that's one thing you don't do against these guys. Don't peek at the meat. You just don't do it. They will kill you. It's going to be a bad situation. But with that, with the 2 kills, Meat Playground will just go ahead, pick up that Baron. They will be safe, and you see the rest of KSG, they're taking the opportunity. Like, okay, we've lost Baron, we've got that. The very least we can do is try and pressure objectives and still get a turret while we still can. Ezreal did manage to get it, but Malphite waiting for his opportunity, does ult past the red pit, will still be slowed. Rux, can you actually get to safety? I'm not so sure. You do have Nunu in pursuit with that Blood Boil. Shard coming on in, looking still some of that movement speed, but may not be enough. And Pobelter, does he have the egg back up? That doesn't even matter. Malphite, he's gone.
Yeah, and Nivea has so much damage, able to burst him down fairly quickly. Kennen was able to get out of there. Malphite not quite so lucky. They do grab this dragon here. Light Sludge coming in around the backside, and they will grab that and clear out some of these wards as well. And now it is about a 9k gold advantage. So just continuing to pile on their lead. They have the Baron buff as well, and Nivea is one of the strongest champions of the game at pushing and stalling a push. But in this case, it will be offensive, and she will be able to control that mid. So they can just push up right up to the tower, poke it down, and then Nivea can just try and wall someone off or help her team play pretty defensively. And then if KSG tries for a hard engage, they have Janna for the disengage. So it'll be very difficult for them to follow up for any kills.
And also not to mention 8.5k lead now here from B Playground. That is massive. 22 minutes on end, plus a Baron buff. You're still going to have that there for the next few minutes. Yeah, right now it's just Me Playground. They're in the driver's seat. The only thing that can really, get to Shirley is on top of everything else. The only thing that Me Playground can really do, now that they're just driving this game on home, is to just drive it off a cliff. If they can just give Keel Steel opportunities to come back, but from that, there's just too much control. Plus, you have Shen, who can split push all he wants, and he can just be with the fight. He can just be with the fight no matter what. did carved out such an advantageous position for them here so early on.
And part of the issue is that there's not a really effective comeback method for KSG.
No.
They do have really nice AoE in fights. Like if they can force a nice fight, then they can maybe, you know, take this back, but they haven't really had a fight that's had positioning in their favor for a while. Like I can't think of one the entire game. Meat Playground's just always been ahead and always been in position. And the big thing is KSG, they need all their ultimates to pick people off. They don't have any means of taking down members of Meat Playground without their ultimates, which means that if they're going to try and pick off like 1 or 2 members, they're going to have to blow everything on them. They're going to need to use the Kennen ultimate, the Malphite ultimate, just absolutely everything, and that's going to allow the rest of the members of Meat Playground to retaliate pretty effectively.
Even if they want to clear waves, even if they just simply want to clear waves faster than Meat Playground can, Ezreal's going to have to use his ult in order to do so. The True Shot Barrage needs to come on in.
Honestly, I was a little bit concerned that you were going to say Malphite's going to have to use his ultimate.
Well,
because if
it
he
couldn't
has to
hurt.
use it to clear the waves.
He could, it couldn't hurt if terribly the worst situation to be in. If you have to use an ult to clear minion waves and you're not someone like Ezreal or like Aurelia, then yeah, it's a very bad spot to be in. But with all of that, you do have Meat Playground taking down that tier 3 in the mid. The inhib is going to be no problem whatsoever. You got Rux's Malphite. He's too busy dealing with Shen there in the top lane. Very similar story what he's been dealing with all his life or all his game, if you just, you know, if you're a little bit lost on time and how long time usually takes to do things, or, you know, we need to find like a measurement of lull time. We already have Teemos for size and distance. We need to think of like a time thing. We got to think of something snappy.
Zillion's Chrono Trigger.
It's
kind of boring.
It's really boring.
It is boring.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Wow. Never mind. Forget it.
We don't need a measure of time. There's seconds and minutes. I use seconds and minutes to measure time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually pretty good.
Yeah, that's a pretty standard unit of measure.
It's pretty standard. I think we should stick with that system.
But anyway, Meat Playground really doing a nice job pressuring KSG here. They do grab that inhibitor. They can split push Shen, so there's not a real strong means of KSG to stall this because that split push, the Flash Frost just barely not picking up Lulu there, so she's barely able to get out of there. But they can continue pressure. And so Shen actually moving up with the team. So we'll see if he decides to split push bottom. Skarner with the ultimate though on Pobelter. Pobelter's pretty low, but Erwin Boo is able to help him out there. The Flash Frost holds off Long Lay, the wall as well. Kennen ultimate will try and take him down. The Shen ultimate is there. He is egged, but Shen is here with the taunt. Pobelter's going to drop a little bit too quickly though. They have a lot of damage though, and Corki is still looking okay, but they have to back off. Shen was able to pick up that kill, but Janna does go down. And actually, KSG's done a pretty nice job of winning this, but Hazard with that Sunfire Cape is able to turn into them. Snipes is very low. He does go down. Rux is stalled as well. The flash from NK Inc. will get the slow, and so a fight that was in KSG's favor, and Meat Playground easily turns it around.
Fantastic, but that was the best that KSG could really have hoped for. That was a picture-perfect Skarner ult, and even then, you saw Pobelter. That was actually a legit concern for him to be grabbed completely off guard. You know, hence, actually purchased a Banshee's Veil protection just for such instance like that. But you saw earlier, the bubble was popped. That left all time for Skarner to actually go in, get the flash, get the impale, and drag into the rest of the team, and they even killed enough time to actually get the egg as well. However, since Anivia was egged, Shen was able to actually still teleport on into the fight with the shield. When you know, if he didn't, if the Navy actually went down quicker, that could actually have been an even better fight for KSG. But unfortunately, that is not the case.
And the interesting thing was that KSG, like we had talked about, they had to use all of their ultimates just to take down Anivia. And Anivia was deceptively tanky, you know, with the egg, having all of that health from the Banshee's Veil and everything. So they couldn't kill her fast enough. They had to use all of the ultimates. So even though they took down Anivia, they were all kind of low as a result of it. And then they didn't have any real strong means of fighting with the rest of Meat Playground. So Meat Playground was able to easily win the rest of that fight while KSG's ultimates were all down. You know, so we'll see how they can hold off. It did stall them pretty effectively though. So you know, it was a somewhat even exchange. It stalled them a little bit, but now Bunny Fufu caught out, trying to ward the slow, will easily take him down. So they can pressure in now, and it is a 4v5.
Yeah, I was about to say, you know, we're getting to that point in the game where cooldown on ultimates Sometimes they'll, once everyone starts hitting 16, the cooldown's just a little bit negatable there. You do have Kennen right out in front. The shutdown coming in from Malfoy, down on the Corki. Pobelter does get the kill down on to the Kennen. Skarner out in front, trying to chuck down the Nivea as much as possible. Snipes though is trapped, is taunted, will not be able to get away from that. Skarner still caught in the AoE of Nivea, will not be getting out of that one. And now trying to teleport to base, but the taunt will keep him still. Rux goes down, the ace with the tornado, and that is going to be it. That's going to be the GG. There's nothing right now the KSG can go ahead to prevent this. Lulu, you can only do, well, nothing really.
Yeah, really nice play from Meat Playground, trying to pick up the kill on Bunny Fufu. He's going to run in for it. Oh, he actually wanted to see if he could knock X-Hazard into his fountain. Couldn't quite grab it, but he does pick up the kill. Hero Lulu trying to grab Irwin Booz as well. The exhaust goes off, but they will be able to pick up the Nexus turret. He's actually going to get it. Irwin Booz does go down, but Anivia with the turnaround. And that previous fight, Corki just being a little overzealous, walked right into them. Snipes actually grabs Pobelter. Ken and K-Ink finish it off. The rest of the team is here. They have the minions. Well, one more auto attack.
Yeah.
They do grab it.
The Impale was not up. We could have dragged NK Inc. into the spawn, but unfortunately that is not the case. And with that, Meat Playground going to go ahead and take game number 2 and the series in very entertaining fashion. Good job, guys.
And the last fight of the game, Corki dove right into the middle of them to slow them, just to fight them. He went down immediately for it. He paid for his sins. Malphite, ulting right on top of him. But then the rest of the team was just too strong. Ezreal, he couldn't, get enough damage off. Nunu was able to 1v1 him. Anivia in the middle of the team was able to pick up a number of kills there, so they were able to bully them around. Really nice play from Meat Playground. KSG, really nice job game number 2, taking the early advantage and then driving it home. But Meat Playground does win it. They will move on.
Fantastic job. And that was actually a really entertaining series. And again, just to topple on top of everything, there's been a lot of talk about champs like Gragas lately, and he's a pretty popular big guy.
Yeah, no, he's definitely very strong.
Yep.
He can, single-handedly win the game for you, and that's anytime there's a champion that can do that. That's like, you have to pick him up. But so we'll see how much Gragas has continued to be played. I feel like he's going to see so much play. He's going to be in almost every single game because he's really just a really unstoppable force.
Yep.
But I don't know. We'll see how both of these teams can do. It is a long road. There's this is our IPL5 qualifiers number 3 for the NA side. There are a number of matches ahead of them.
Oh yeah.
Meat Playground in particular. Looking at the brackets.
Let's see.
I'll actually try and pull that up real quick.
Yeah. See. Next match here, Meat Playground kills. All right. So Meat Playground is actually going to play the winner of.
I know. I'm running this all over the place. You're trying to read it, and I'm not letting you.
Unrestricted and Calamity. And then from then on, they'll move on to round 16, and the winner of that match will actually end up playing the winner of Team Curse and one of the Mono Ultimates.
Yeah, so a couple of nice matches there. It's definitely going to be some exciting matches. Dignitas, they haven't made it in yet, so CLG as well, and that's actually kind of interesting to consider. We have 2 qualifiers left. CLG, Dignitas, and Curse haven't made it in. So, we'll see what kind of pressure, they can put on. And then the 2 teams that have made it in from the NA, Dynamic and TSM Evo, they've actually both been struggling pretty significantly now.
Yeah.
So they had, they both had a small time period where they were actually playing really impressive LoL. They were all both at the top of their games, but they've been dropping. They've been dropping pretty quickly and haven't been able to find that spark again.
But you do have there's plenty of time for them to bounce back. You do have Dynamic picking back up Nintendo. We can still see changes at TSM Evo before we ever actually get the IPL5. So there's plenty of time, and even then you also have to think of all the Asian teams that qualified, all the EU teams that qualified. They have there's more than enough possibly for them to fluctuate in their skill as well before we ever actually get to the main event. But with that though, I think we're pretty much done for now. Also, remember, we are running a contest right now. While we were at IPL Face-Off, we had we had a good bunch of our teams actually autograph some of the flyers for the show, and we're going to be giving away some of those to you. IGN.com/IPL. Go to the news page, scroll on down, and you will see the contest link in there. I'm sure some of our mods are actually posting the link in chat too. You just got to hit a whole bunch of buttons, and you will be entered to win some great great stuff. And
it's also, if you go to facebook.com/IGN Pro League, it's
Yes.
right on the front page
Right there, too.
of there right now. So you can check that out. Yeah, we're giving away a lot of nice things. That'll be cool.
Yep, as always, our Twitters are right there, youtube.com/IPLLoL. And with that, though, I think we are pretty much done for today. We will see you tomorrow. Going to continue the Hong Kong qualifiers, and we'll be back with some more NA matches in the afternoon. And hey, we will see you then. Night.